What if today's science is proving what the Upanishads knew thousands of years ago? What if the deepest secret of this universe is not outside, but hidden within your own consciousness? In the subtle world of matter, quantum physics tells us that particles are not definite until they are observed or measured. They exist in a subtle field of possibilities, and as soon as attention is focused on them, they take the form of a solid reality. This is not just a theory, but a scientific truth that has compelled scientists to think deeply for decades. But from here arises another question. Is it possible that the key to this mystery is not hidden in any modern machine, but in the experiences of those ancient sages who, thousands of years ago, realized this truth in the depths of meditation? Is it possible that the deepest truths of the universe are not new, but are only being recognized again? This is not just a scientific discovery. It is a marvelous confluence where the knowledge of modern physics connects with the eternal wisdom of the Upanishads. And this confluence points to a truth that can change our entire understanding. It suggests that the fundamental element of this universe may not be just matter or energy, but consciousness. For centuries, science was based on a simple belief. It was assumed that the world is solid and its existence does not change whether we see it or not. But as scientists began to look inside the atom, this notion gradually started to break down. At the microscopic level, reality was not as it appeared. The rules had changed, logic became complicated, and what seemed obvious also became mysterious. This gave birth to quantum physics, which completely changed our understanding of reality. Now, understand a simple experiment. When microscopic particles are sent towards two slits, common sense says that they will pass through one path. But when they are not observed, they behave not like particles, but like waves. It seems as if they are passing through both paths simultaneously, and as soon as an attempt is made to observe them, that wave transforms into a definite particle. This shows that the act of observation is not just inspection, but a profound process that affects reality. Even more astonishing than this is the fact that two particles, no matter how far apart they are, can remain connected to each other. As soon as one changes, the other responds immediately, as if both are not separate, but two forms of the same existence. This is not just a scientific phenomenon, but a pointer to a deeper truth, a reality where everything is interconnected, where separation is only an experience, not the ultimate truth. It was these very mysteries that compelled great scientists to think deeply. Scientists like Niels Bohr, Werner Heisenberg, and Erwin Schrödinger did not limit themselves to physics alone. They turned towards philosophy to understand the depths of truth. And as they explored, they realized that the answers they were seeking had already been glimpsed in the Upanishads. Now, the question is whether this is merely a coincidence, or if science is truly approaching the same truth that our sages had experienced. But now, what is about to be revealed gives this entire discussion a new direction. Long before modern laboratories were established and complex instruments were built, a different kind of inquiry had already begun. In ancient India, our sages turned their vision inward, away from the external world. Their laboratory was not a physical place, but the calm and disciplined realm of their own consciousness. Through deep meditation, they sought to understand the truth hidden behind change. The essence of their experiences is preserved in the Upanishads. The meaning of the Upanishads is not just a text, but a state where the disciple sits near the Guru and realizes the truth. These texts are the heart of Vedanta, considered the essence of the Vedas. But their most important question was whether there is one fundamental truth behind this diverse world. And the answer they found was very simple and profound. Behind this entire creation, there is only one truth, which pervades everything, is the basis of all and never changes. They called it Brahman. This Brahman is the source of every object and the foundation of every experience. The Chandogya Upanishad states, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, meaning this entire universe is an expression of that one truth. But the search did not end there. When our sages looked deeper, they found that within us too there is a center beyond thoughts and emotions, a silent consciousness that only observes, which does not change. This is the soul, our true nature. The deepest mystery is revealed when these two are understood together. The message of the Upanishads is not that Brahman is somewhere outside and the soul somewhere inside. Rather, it is that both are one. The great statement of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Aham Brahmasmi, meaning I am that Brahman. And the phrase from the Chandogya Upanishad, Tvam Asi, tells us that that truth is you yourself. This is not just a theory, but a description of an experience. The knowledge of the Upanishads explains to us that the experience of different personalities we have is not the ultimate truth. It is an illusion, which is called Maya. Awakening from this illusion is the first step towards true freedom. When the great scientists of modern quantum physics understood these ideas, they were amazed. They realized that the reality they were trying to understand through experiments had already been indicated in the Upanishads. Erwin Schrödinger, who was a Nobel Prize winner, was deeply influenced by Vedanta. He accepted the idea that consciousness is one, and multiplicity is only its illusion. For him, this philosophy was a profound reflection of the questions of physics. Niels Bohr also understood that to comprehend reality, we must accept both aspects that seem contradictory, such as waves and particles existing simultaneously. After becoming familiar with Indian philosophy, Werner Heisenberg admitted that ideas which once seemed strange suddenly became clearer and more meaningful. And J. Robert Oppenheimer attempted to understand this knowledge through the study of the Bhagavad Gita, which encompasses many fundamental ideas of the Upanishads. All these scientists glimpsed a reality in their discoveries that our sages had experienced long ago. This is not just a similarity, but an indication of moving toward the same truth through two different paths. When you look at the discoveries of quantum physics and the knowledge of the Upanishads together, a remarkable similarity emerges. It seems as if two paths moving in different directions, one through external instruments and the other through internal meditation, are ultimately reaching the same truth. First, understand what science calls the seer. In quantum physics, it has been observed that until a particle is observed, it is not definite. As soon as attention is focused on it, it takes a definite form. This means that the act of seeing is not just observation but a force that influences reality. Now, look at this from the perspective of the Upanishads. They explain that within us there is a consciousness that only sees and does not itself change. This is the witness. This is the soul. In the Mundaka Upanishad, there is a beautiful example where two birds sit on the same tree. One experiences the fruit, and the other simply watches quietly. The watching bird is the soul. Here, both science and the Upanishads point in the same direction. The one who sees is not just a spectator, but the basis of the experience of reality. Now pay attention to another profound matter. Quantum physics tells us that two particles, no matter how far apart they are, can remain connected to each other. As soon as one undergoes a change, the other responds immediately. This means that they are not truly separate. At a deeper level, they are one and the same. This is the core idea of the Upanishads. The sentence from the Chandogya Upanishad, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, states that the entire universe is an expression of the same truth. The separation we experience is not the ultimate reality but merely an illusion. Now understand the mystery called superposition. Science says that a particle exists in many possibilities until it is measured. This means that reality is not fixed, but a field of possibilities. The Upanishads explain this experience as Maya. Maya does not mean that the world is non existent, but that it is not as it appears. A famous example is when a rope is mistaken for a snake in the dark. Fear arises. The experience seems real, but as soon as light comes, the truth becomes clear. Similarly, this diverse world is also an expression of the one Brahman, which manifests in various forms. And finally, the deepest secret comes to light. In quantum physics, it begins to become clear that the boundary between the observer and the observed is not as distinct as we think. They are part of the same system. This is the point where the Upanishads give their ultimate message. The Mahavakya of the Chandogya Upanishad, Tat Tvam Asi, says that the supreme truth is you yourself. In an ancient story, the sage Udalaka explains this truth to his son Shvetaketu. He asks him to dissolve salt in water. The salt is not visible, but its taste is present in every drop. Similarly, that invisible truth pervades the entire existence, and it is within you as well. This understanding is not just a thought, but a gateway leading to experience. When it becomes clear that the observer and the observed are not separate, a deep experience of unity is born. The same consciousness that is watching within you is at work throughout this entire universe. Science points to this truth, and the Upanishads fully reveal it. If this knowledge touches you deeply, do not stop this journey here. Join this channel to understand such profound topics and move forward on this path. So now the question arises, what is the real meaning of all this? Is it merely a coincidence, or are we truly witnessing a remarkable confluence of humanity's two deepest quests? If these similarities are taken seriously, they change our entire perspective. It suggests that consciousness is not just an accidental process of the brain. It is possible that consciousness is the foundation from which this entire reality arises. Max Planck also thought along these lines and said that consciousness is fundamental and matter emerges from it. This was not just a scientific statement, but a conclusion drawn from deep experience and contemplation. This understanding does not go against science, rather, it deepens it. Science tells us how things work, while the Upanishads explain what their fundamental cause is. They are not opposites, but two different paths to understanding the same truth. One searches by looking outward, and the other experiences by turning inward. Now, if this truth is connected to one's life, its meaning becomes profoundly deep. It means that you are not just a limited body or personality. You are the consciousness in which this entire experience is happening. This is the witness that observes every change, but itself remains unchanged. The Kathopanishad states that the soul neither takes birth nor is destroyed. The body changes, experiences change, but the consciousness that observes all these remains always the same. When this understanding gradually begins to become clear, the entire experience of life starts to change. Fear begins to diminish, the feeling of separation starts to fade, and in its place arises a deep experience of peace and connection. This is the point where knowledge is no longer just a thought, but becomes a direct experience of life. We began our journey with a mystery where the act of seeing itself changes reality. And now we reach a truth where the observer and the observed are not separate but become one. When the great scientists of the 20th century delved deeply into understanding the outer universe, they ultimately had to turn inward. They experienced that the mysterious and observer dependent reality indicated by quantum physics is not a new discovery. It is a rediscovery of the truth that the sages of the Upanishads had known long ago. This truth is that the entire universe is an integrated field of consciousness, and our individual mind is an expression of that vast consciousness. This truth is not found in any complex theory or calculation, but in that simple awareness which is currently seeing these words. The same consciousness that is always present, that does not change, that only witnesses. It seems that the journey of science has completed a full circle. After centuries of searching outward, it has now reached the point where the path forward leads inward. This indicates that the key to understanding truth is not hidden in external tools, but in deep self awareness. The sages said that this universe is not a puzzle to be solved, but an experience to be lived. And the greatest discovery is not outside, but within oneself. This truth is expressed in a simple yet profoundly deep sentence: Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. Now, the question is not what this truth is. The question is whether you are ready to know it yourself. Share your thoughts and do not stop this journey here, because the next step is to understand how to apply this knowledge in your daily life. Thank you.